You feel it before you even understand it. It is a shadow stretching across the crib of a newborn child. It is the invisible weight pressing down on the shoulders of the exhausted worker walking home at midnight. It is the silent anxiety thrumming through the concrete pillars of every hospital, every school, every crumbling bridge in your city. Debt. It is a word that tastes like ash. It is a chain forged not of iron, but of numbers on a glowing screen. We are born into it. We live our entire lives trying to outrun it. And yet the faster we run, the deeper the shadow grows. Look around you. Your neighbor is in debt. Your mayor is balancing a ledger that drips with red ink. Now look higher. Your country, the very soil beneath your feet, is drowning in a sea of owed promises. Trillions upon trillions of dollars. Numbers so vast they cease to be mathematics and become a kind of modern mythology. Every single nation on this earth, from the glittering skylines of the wealthiest empires to the dusty roads of the smallest republics, owes something to someone. But here is the question that haunts the quiet hours of the night. Here is the paradox that makes the mind reel and the heart sink. If every single person is borrowing, if every city is borrowing, if every nation on the face of the globe is borrowing money just to keep the lights on and the water flowing, who exactly is lending it? If the entire world is standing in the red, who is sitting in the black? There must be a master creditor. There must be a grand collector at the end of the line, waiting patiently with an open hand and a ledger that balances the universe. We search for this entity. We desperately need this entity to exist, because without a creditor, the concept of debt becomes a terrifying void. We want to find a face to blame for the endless grind. Where do we look for the master of our chains? We look to the towering glass citadels of Wall Street. We imagine a room of smoke and mahogany where a dozen men with cold eyes hold the mortgages of the earth. We look to distant foreign powers, imagining a rival empire sitting on mountains of gold, slowly buying up our future piece by piece. We look to secretive central banks, imagining a dragon hoarding wealth in a bottomless vault. But the deeper you dig, the more the illusion shatters. The terrifying truth begins to bleed through the fabric of the story we have been told. You point your finger at the monolithic bank, but that bank owes billions to other banks. You point your finger at the rival nation, but their entire economy is propped up by the debt they owe to entirely different nations. It is an endless, maddening circle. The villain you seek is a phantom. There is no supreme dragon sitting on a mountain of gold. There is no shadowy king holding the deed to the earth. The throne is empty. The collector's booth is vacant. This realization does not bring relief. It brings a profound, chilling terror. If there is no one at the top pulling the strings, then what is this machine we are all trapped inside? Who built this engine that demands endless fuel but never reaches a destination? The exhaustion sets in. It is the deep, spiritual fatigue of a society that realizes it is running on a treadmill over an abyss. We are sacrificing our time, our energy, our very lives to pay a toll to a ghost. We are feeding a fire that consumes everything and warms no one. If the creditor is not a foreign king, and if the creditor is not a shadowy billionaire, the answer must lie closer to home. You must walk to the mirror. You must wipe away the dust and look at the reflection staring back at you. The creditor is you. The creditor is your grandmother, trusting that the small pension she paid into her whole life will be there to buy her medicine. The creditor is the firefighter putting away a fraction of his paycheck into a retirement fund. The creditor is the teacher hoping her savings will send her daughter to college. Every time an ordinary person tries to save a piece of today to survive tomorrow, they become the master creditor of the global machine. But the story goes deeper than the money in a savings account. It goes to the very heart of human existence. The true creditor is not a person at all. The true creditor is time. We are not borrowing money from a bank. We are borrowing time from the future. We are reaching our hands into the decades that have not yet arrived, tearing out chunks of raw possibility and dragging them into the present. We want the highway today. We want the hospital today. We want the peace and the prosperity right now in this very breath. And because we cannot afford it, we force our unborn children to foot the bill. Feel the weight of that truth. It is a mixture of breathtaking arrogance and heartbreaking desperation. We love our present so much, and we fear our immediate demise so intensely that we are willing to indenture the generations that will follow us. We look at the faces of our children, and silently, implicitly, we hand them a bill for the very world they are inheriting. We are gambling with their resources, their stability, their chance at peace, all because we believe with a terrifying blindness that they will somehow be richer and smarter than we are. Money is a ghost. It is a collective hallucination. You cannot eat a dollar bill. You cannot build a shelter out of a digital bank transfer. The entire global economy, this massive, crushing weight of debt, is constructed entirely out of belief. It is a house of cards soaring into the stratosphere. Every card is a promise. I promise to pay you back. My country promises to pay your country back. The future promises to pay the present back. It is a fragile, terrifyingly delicate structure. And the only thing keeping it from collapsing into absolute ruin is our shared faith in tomorrow. This is the ultimate source of the world's anxiety. It is the low hum of dread you feel when you read the news. We all know, deep down in our bones, that the math does not add up. We know the promises have grown too large, the numbers too astronomical. We are all participating in a grand delusion. We are holding hands, standing on the edge of a cliff, trusting that the person next to us will not let go. If that belief ever falters, if the world wakes up one morning and decides that the promises are empty, the entire structure shatters. The phantom debt becomes a very real apocalypse. The savings vanish, the pensions disappear, the future we borrowed from suddenly arrives, and it is entirely bankrupt. We live every day on the knife edge of this psychological precipice. So we keep marching, we keep working, we keep striving, we keep adding to the endless ledger of human hope and human folly. The debt of the world is not a financial problem. It is a deeply spiritual condition. It is the physical manifestation of our fear of death and our desperate hunger for progress. We borrow because we want to live beyond our means. We borrow because we refuse to accept the limitations of the present moment. And in doing so, we bind ourselves to every other human being on this planet. Your labor pays for a road halfway across the world. A stranger's savings pay for the roof over your head. We are entangled in a massive, invisible web of obligations. There is no escape. There is no final payment that will clear the board. The debt will never be paid off because human desire is infinite, and the future is always one day away. Let us look closer at the fabric of this invisible web. Every transaction is a heartbeat in this enormous, frightened creature we call the global economy. When a government issues a bond, they are not just printing a piece of paper. They are writing a love letter to the future, wrapped in a threat. They are declaring that the nation will endure, that the taxes will be collected, that the sheer willpower of millions of citizens will continue to churn out value. It is a beautiful sentiment, born of absolute necessity. Yet, the cruelty of this system is how quietly it operates. The cruelty is in its silence. The debt does not scream at you, it whispers. It whispers when the cost of bread creeps up by a few pennies. It whispers when a school cannot afford new books. It whispers when a young couple realizes they will never own the soil they stand on. The burden is distributed so widely, so thinly, that no single person feels the entire crushing weight at once, but everyone feels the constant, dull ache of its presence. We have built a cathedral of debt, and we are all forced to worship inside it. We light candles of commerce. We sing hymns of economic growth. We pray to the phantom at the top of the world, begging for just a little more time, just a little more credit. We ask for deliverance from the very system we constructed with our own hands. Ultimately, the story of global debt is the story of human trust stretched to its absolute breaking point. It is a testament to our profound, foolish, necessary optimism. We believe in our collective survival so fiercely that we are willing to leverage the entire planet on it. The ledger remains open. The ink never dries. The ghost continues to haunt the machinery of our lives. We owe each other everything. We owe the future everything. And in this terrifying, magnificent entanglement, we find the only truth that remains. We are all in this together, falling through time, hoping the parachute of our promises will finally open.